Hello and welcome to Islanders Anxiety from Lighthouse Hockey and the Fans First Sports Network. My name is Dan Saracini. Joining me via Zencaster is my friend Michael Leboff. And Mike, this was supposed to be a nice, easy episode. We were supposed to talk about draft, maybe have some fun predictions. In the second half, we did a little crowdsourcing. And then the entire league decided to fold in upon itself. Trades are happening all over the place, some coming completely out of nowhere. The Islanders have hired Pascal Dupuis, which is insane to me. We got a lot to get to in a short period of time. And all this because our schedule got a little bit rejiggered last week and we were able to find time here. And like I said, this was supposed to be nice and easy, but all of a sudden it's become a pretty packed episode. I mean, how are you taking in all of this fast and furious action on the NHL hot stove in the last 24 hours or so?
I'm having a good laugh at all the professional liars, because they've all been on top of all of this. They got everything right, and you can read, and this is a direct quote. You can read Pierre LeBrun's quote "meaty rap" and unquote of a newsy board of governors meeting with expansion too. Did we mention the expansion?
Oh right, yeah.
So
the meaty rap.
Yeah, there's a meaty rap out there for anyone who wants to read it. Good Lord. If I have to hear the words "go to market" one more time, I'm gonna do human beings? Did anyone ever say that Juan Soto might go to market when he was going to be a free? No, right? This is just a very, So yeah, I mean, I'm having fun in my own way. Little concerned about how it seems like a lot of you have a pretty good idea of what teams are trying to do in the off season and then next season. I don't even know if the Islanders are in a position to know what they want to do. I don't know if they are in a position to have a plan,
right?
Because they haven't really got anything done on the ice yet. With all due respect to Liam Foudy and Dalen Kufler and Marshall Warren,
right? And Ethan Bear,
right? Yep, yes, and Ethan Bear. But as you said, they've been busy off the ice. Rocky Thompson and the Hamilton Hammer stuff and Pascal Dupuis. I guess we could start there and make it quick. Look,
right? Don't
know what that job entails, if he's going to be good at it, but does it sit well with me that the guy who fought Josh Bailey is now part of the team, and I hated this guy as a player, so he's got a lot of work to do to win me over. And I don't know what work that is. Did anyone ever credit Eric Cairns and be like, wow, Simon Holmstrom, develops really well? I don't think the director of player development gets those accolades, but so, yeah, I mean, I feel like if I see Pascal Dupuis walking around UBS Arena, I'm going to have a little chat with him and be like, really did not like you as a Ranger and hated you as a Penguin. So, yeah, I don't know. That one was out of nowhere. And a guy who we've talked a lot about Patrick Waugh and Evgeny Nabokov and Chris Osgood being guys who just were never in the same orbit as the Islanders. So you just never really thought about them. Pascal Dupuis was never in their orbit either for a different reason, because he was a villain and now he's here. So
yeah, I hated Pascal Dupuis when he was a friggin' Minnesota Wild. Yeah. How's that even possible? I just did. I just remember being I hate this guy. I mean, he was an Atlanta Thrasher and I didn't think about him at all, obviously. Yeah, it's going to be weird. And, listen, we're not experts on what, a director of player personnel does. From what I understand, they do spend time calling and talking to prospects and things like that. And from what I hear, Eric Cairns was kind of good at what I've read in different places. He's been good at that. And the Islanders are good about kind of meeting up and talking with people and stuff. But other than that, I'm not sure what he did, but he's out. And Pascal Dupuis is in, and whenever you replace a guy who played for your team with a guy who played for one of your most hated teams, it's a little weird.
But two of your most hated teams.
Two of your most hated, yeah.
Yeah, right.
I'm assuming him and Darsh have some sort of relationship, maybe. I don't even know. Maybe they're, they're boys going back to Quebec or something. I don't know. But, whatever. We'll have to see. And I mean, this is like when the Islanders hired Jacques Lemaire. And people were like, what are they doing? All these old devils here. Please tell me what Jacques Lemaire did for the Islanders, and I'll get upset about it. I don't, he got a windbreaker and a paycheck every once in a while. It's fine. I don't really care. but we'll have to see. But it was a little bit weird. And
Yeah.
my response to this when I saw this, and I believe it was one of our patrons. It might have been Nick. I'm not sure. My response was, and I quote, "What the fuck?" Like that was my actual response because that didn't make any sense. But we'll have to see.
And he could be the best player development personnel guy ever. But I mean, read the room, guys.
Yeah,
like this is it. He fought Josh Bailey. You think I'm not mad. I'm not mad about them hiring, a new player development guy or whatever.
Right.
I'm just mad that Pascal Dupuis, I had to see his face. My day was going fine.
Right. No.
And I just was like living my life.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I see Pascal Dupuis with like an Islander, picture graphic. Like what? This are we setting up like a celebrity fight between him and like a rematch or something? Like that this guy was part of. Oh God!
Everything's going great, and then you go to Islanders.com or you go to your social media, your Instagram, whatever, and you're like, "What the Pascal? Why do I got to look at this guy's face?" Anyway.
Yeah, he's got a very, very distinct look too, and
right.
I don't trust him, so he's got a lot. He's got a lot of work to do to win me over, and I really hope that this doesn't rub Josh Bailey in the wrong way. I hope that they ran this by Josh before that they we know you guys had it out on that fight night. The one thing that there's who knows, but the one good thing that could come out of this is we could get some fight night stories from the other side,
right?
Possible. at the reunion, the 15-year anniversary. Was it just the 15-year anniversary, or is it coming up?
No, it was this year.
It was all right. The 16-year anniversary celebration, maybe. But yeah, if he's in the building for alumni night, just doing his job, and Trevor Gillies is there.
Yeah.
Look out. Right.
Well, I mean, listen, like you said, we don't know what he does. Maybe he's the best director of player development they've ever had. But I will say this: if they follow up hiring Pascal Dupuis with hiring Max Talbot,
I was gonna say
as vice president of something, that's gonna be a problem.
I know. I was thinking the same thing too. I was like, if this is like close to the edge. Yeah. If Max Talbot's there, we're gonna have to drive. Remember, there's those pictures when they changed the logo to the fisherman of like the protest. There was like that march, march down Hempstead Turnpike. I might have to have it might be a 4-person march, but to get Pascal Dupuis and Max Talbot out of my front office.
Please, no more French Canadian Penguins. No Talbot, no Fleury.
Don't need
none of these guys.
Funny. Mike Russo thinks that Marc-Andre Fleury was right.
No Jean-Sebastien Aubin. We don't need these guys. Anyway, that I think that's enough Pascal Dupuis. That's definitely more Pascal Dupuis discussion you'll get from any other Islanders podcast.
I wonder if he's like, I'm going to tune into an Islander podcast to see if and we're like, motherfuck this guy.
Hate this guy.
We gotta run. The Islanders don't run players out of town, but we sure do run our player development personnel out of town.
I don't know. I'd love to hear more about the Cairns thing because it was funny because Cairns just one day was the director of player personnel, and you're just like, or player development, and you're just like, oh. Okay, sure. You hire an ex-Islander, sure.
He's been around. Like I've seen him. I've seen him online at games and stuff. So they probably like, yeah, you want a job here?
Right. He's been an NHL player. Well, who better to have as a player development, VP or whatever it is. And now he's just as quickly as he came, he just left. So I don't know what happened. Did he sign on with another team? Was his contract up? Did he retire? I mean, is he going to the cabin? I don't even know. So.
He's been here a long time. I don't like I said, I don't know if he did a good job or a bad job. Right. I got no idea because you just don't know. But he was here a long time. He had a great look, and he was a presence too. Like he was just at events.
Well, because he's 18 feet tall. Like that's
true too.
I was gonna say he had a great look because he's a huge, tall guy. Like that,
and he's also Eric freaking Cairns. Like like that's the other thing. Like you can't get like polar opposites of like cult figures. Where you got Eric Cairns, who sure left a lot to be desired in terms of his like on ice talent and ability, but boy, was watching him beat the shit out of Shane Corson, like a radicalization moment for me as a fan, and I will never forget that. And him pointing, the fist bump with Bates and pointing to the crowd skating off and get goosebumps. Think about it. To go from that to the guy who fought Josh Bailey on fight night. It's so good. I think it's, and like, I get that this is not the stuff that's supposed to go into factoring into these decisions from a front office perspective.
Yeah.
But it really just speaks to, one of the themes we've been talking about now for a year about like this kind of regime being a little out of touch with things.
Yeah.
But like I said, you can't hire people because they're like, well, they're going to make fun of Pascal Dupuis on Islanders anxiety. We can't have him here.
Right. Yeah. If there's one thing we've learned, it's that reading the room is not high on the list of priorities for these guys.
Yeah.
But, that's just how it works. But, and we mentioned it before, they did sign Ethan Bear a couple of weeks ago to a 2-way 1-year contract. He was hurt for a lot of this year in the AHL. Maybe he's still okay. I don't know. I don't know if we'll see him, but I mean, 2-way means he's going to get paid more in the NHL than he will in the AHL. To me, that sort of implies they expect him to play in the NHL, but who knows? So we'll kind of see. But that kind of came out of nowhere either, because again, his year last year, he only played in 40 games. And I think he was hurt for a lot of it. So we'll see. So Ethan Bear, welcome back again, because it's good to have you back. However, like I said before, we did have a lot to get to. We didn't have a lot to get to coming into this episode, but now we do. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the draft right now. In the second half, we'll get into some of the trades and the weirdness that's going on, and then maybe look ahead to, what we think might happen at the actual draft. Although, obviously we're just kind of going to be pulling things out of thin air. We did some crowdsourcing at patreon.com/Islanders Anxiety. So thank you to all who left some comments. We'll get to those in a little bit. You can always sign up anytime you want. Patreon.com/Islanders Anxiety. Membership gets you content all summer long. We do our mailbags. We do our country club atmospheres. We just put out one yesterday on Monday, not yesterday, because we're recording this on Tuesday. This is coming out on Wednesday. We put one out on Monday. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but we do kinds of stuff all summer long. So sign up any way you can. Patreon.com/Islanders Anxiety. Okay. So let's talk draft picks. The Islanders have a couple, not all of them. They have a few. They have the 13th overall pick in the first round. They do not have a second round pick, thanks to the Josh Bailey trade from 2 years ago.
A lot of Josh Bailey talk on this podcast.
Yeah, no, that's not expected either. But yeah, the Blackhawks have that as of right now, although they just made a trade. So maybe by the time you hear this, they won't have that second round pick, but we'll get to that when we get to that. They also don't have a third round pick because it went to the Rangers in the Carson Soucy trade. So that's a lot of fun there too.
For all you mock drafters, when the redraft comes out in 6 years of who should go number 1 overall, it's whoever was picked with that number. That third round pick is going to be the best player in this draft.
Sure. Absolutely.
You can absolutely take that to the bank.
Yeah. Congrats to that guy on his All-Star game nomination.
His Vezina trophy.
Right. Yeah.
The first
Norris, whatever. Yeah.
The first goalie to also score 30 goals in a season because he's like Shohei Ohtani.
It'll definitely be something. But then the Islanders come back in the 4th round with pick 109, 5th round pick 141, 6th round pick 173, 7th round pick 205. And listen, in fairness, we're joking here, but the Islanders got good marks last year, so maybe some of those deep picks end up being prospects of intrigue. Obviously, we don't know what they're going to be, but you never know if a Daniel Prokhorov or a Marcus Gidloff or somebody like that ends up in that range there. But we'll have to wait and see. It's the 13th overall pick that we are discussing tonight. And as longtime listeners will know, we are not prospect perverts. We're not grifters. We're not professional liars. We don't know anything about any of these guys. We've spent exactly 0 time watching them on YouTube, Flow Hockey, live, or any other way you can watch prospects. We could look at some numbers. We could read some write-ups at various websites. But honestly, we don't know anything about these guys. So we decided, well, let's do a little crowdsourcing. Let's ask our patrons who they wanted to see the Islanders use that 13th overall pick on, and give us a couple of sentences why. Before we get to the picks here, 13th is kind of a weird spot. This is not considered a too deep draft. It's, about maybe 6 or 7 guys at the top, and then it kind of drops off a little bit here. Did you have somebody in mind for you that kind of sparked your interest? Again, we don't really know anything. I mentioned last week, who was it? Adam Novotny kind of being the guy, but as one of our patrons, Copacabana, I've mentioned, every write-up doesn't talk about any of his bad points. They only talk about the good stuff, which is sort of like, maybe that's why I kind of thought he was a cool pick. But is there anybody that kind of like, caught your eye and was like, that guy could be kind of cool?
Well, yeah, you were talking to me about Novotny the other day, and I was hoping that he was related to Yuri Novotny, but he's not. I don't think so.
We do have one relation coming up in a little bit.
Yeah. So Novotny's stock goes down because of that. I like the name Oscar Hemming. It feels very like Victorian England. If I'm being honest, do you want me to say what I hope they do?
Sure.
So basically, what I hope happens here is like a Gar Snow move where they kind of trade down and get more and more. Because as you said, it sounds like the Islanders are kind of a couple picks outside of the these are great prospect, can't miss kind of type, 80%ers or whatever you want to say. So I wouldn't mind like that kind of strategy. But of the bunch, like I think they need, if they pick at 13, they should go after a right-handed defenseman coming to bring up. Like that's probably what their biggest need in the pipeline is. So whether it's, you could go with the big guy that was Keaton Verhoff was like, I guess his stock has really dropped because he was around, but like if he's still around, sure, why not? Or he's the opposite type is that Ryan Lynn guy whose name has popped around. But like I don't know who I'd pick. I'm kind of hoping that they, as I said, like my hope is that they Gar Snow this somehow, whether that means drafting only defensemen with all the picks or trading down and trying to get as many of these picks between 13 and 40 or 45 as you can, because I just would like to see, this is all going to be related to this entire episode, but I just would like to see like a sign of a plan or competence from the front office. Going in and being like, this was our plan, and we executed it, rather than what seems to be going on, which is, as I said, like I just don't know if they're even in a position to have a plan. So
so you're basically on team not best player available.
I'm on team like just get a bunch of these,
right.
Go. Yeah. I think when you're in this part of the draft, that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
And
I think that's a solid plan.
Yeah.
I will say this, and I hope this is the only time I say this during this entire episode. It would be a lot easier to do that if they had an additional first round pick. Just saying.
I know.
That would be very helpful.
As I was talking about that, I was like, oh yeah, they already had those picks.
Yeah.
That's what they got rid of.
Right.
But yeah, I guess that'd be my hope, is that they kind of go that way.
Sure.
But let's say if they don't, sure, why not Novotny? Why not? We'll just be the Novotny pushers.
Yeah. Like it would, listen, if they take a guy who is, let's say somebody drops and, that they were projected to go 7th and they get him at 13, that's a good value pick. It's probably a good player. It's fine. Like nobody's going to be upset about it. But I get what you're saying. Like, I think a lot of us want a direction. We were hoping for a direction last year that sort of, we're building around Matthew Schaefer. That didn't really materialize. They, picked up a couple more veterans, which is sort of like, okay, we're still trying to patch this thing together, keep this boat floating with these guys here. And, that wasn't quite the way they wanted, but I get what you're saying. I think that probably makes a lot of sense. So, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
No, I don't think it is. I think that it's, they will be team. Whoever elite prospect says for them to pick at 13 when the first 12 guys go off the board, my guess is that's who they end up picking.
Right. And that player might be a fine player. And we might be like, oh yeah, they did really well. So,
it could be Adam Novotny,
like it could be
this guy that we're pushing now, but
sure. Could be that this big dude, Albert Smits, who is,
there will be some really good, there are always good names in the draft, but like a lot of them that have jumped the shark to like the some really, like, oh, you definitely went to prep school kind of names. But this group that have been tossed around at 13 are great. Smits and Malte Gustafsson and Oscar Hemming, who I really hope he's a good writer.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah, there's some great names here, and our patrons picked some great players, some of them just because they're names, which again, for us is just as good as anybody else's scouting report that we can have. But there was one guy who stood out above the rest, and the patrons went with, and it was 5 picks, unless it might have changed, I'm not sure. The name is Ethan Belchitz. He's a left winger. He's left-handed, or lefty shooter, I should say, from Michigan State. He is a moose, 6'5", 229. Elite Prospects had him ranked 9th. His highest ranking, because they have like 16 different, sources in there. His highest ranking was 6th. His lowest was 14th. So it kind of averages out to about 11th or so. And he was described as a power forward. And we had a couple of patrons, again, have some little write-ups here. David wrote, Ethan Belchitz, left wing, Windsor Spitfires. Gemini tells me he's often mocked at 13. And in the face of uncertainty, I'll go with the chalk pick. He'll likely project somewhere between Robert Nilsson and Matthew Schaefer. Okay, that's LOL. That's a joke. That's a wide range. John says he just read on The Athletic that the Isles should be prioritizing a goalie, given that Ilya has, checks notes, only 6 years left. That is 100% true. The Athletic was like, they should take a goalie. What?
Wait.
Yeah.
Like that's what they said that.
Yeah.
Their biggest area of need is?
Yeah. Goalie.
Okay.
Do you believe that? Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, I mean, I can actually, because I just...
It is The Athletic after all. Anyway, John says, anyway, ignoring that, there's a winger who seems to come in around 10 to 15 in the draft named Ethan Belchitz, who's 6'5", and apparently is skillful with it. Sounds like fun. Otherwise, anyone who has a faint UK link would be great. Sure. I don't know if his parents are from, Birmingham or Leeds or any of these other cool places. But yeah, so, I mean, listen, again, we don't know anything. So this is as good as it, maybe just his name sounds cool. But I think size in this case is what's driving this. And he's a big boy. 6'5", 229 is big. And he's, 17 or 18. So he's only going to get bigger. So Belchitz is, the guy our patrons are leaning towards, but there's a bunch of others that are right below him. And we talked a minute ago about the legacies and, people who are sons of former NHLers. Coming in one pick below Ethan Belchitz is Wyatt Cullen, the son of former Penguin Matt Cullen. Great. Maybe this is why they hired Pascal Dupuis. Mike K says, Wyatt Cullen, we are woefully short of Minnesota without Brock and now maybe Anders. Scouting report says high motor, fast, and Matt Cullen's kid. Sure, works for me. And then Rich has the right attitude for this whole exercise. He says Cullen as well, but he says anyone who can score on the power play or score, period. You nailed it, Rich. Anybody who can score on the power play, just take that guy, please. Wyatt Cullen, good skater, shooter, playmaker, won't panic on zone entry. So, yeah, I mean, both of these guys sound great to me. Cullen, 6'1", 181, otherwise known as, normal human size for a guy his age. He's in the part of the U.S. National Development Program where the Islanders have taken players out of often. Left-handed shooter. Elite Prospects has him at 6, which is pretty high. His high is 6. His lowest ranking among all the rankings that Elite Prospects culled from is 24. Jeez, that's a wide. I mean, maybe this guy is almost like between Robert Nilsson and Matthew Schaefer. That's kind of crazy. Also, Elite Prospects described him as a dangler, which I've never heard before and sounds like something you might hear on Law and Order SVU. Like, I don't want to be, dangler. That's the best you can do. Dangler, really? Reminds me of Tim Connolly, who dangled all day long and just never scored goals. So let's not return to that. Okay, moving on. Another guy getting a couple of votes, Tynan Lawrence, who is a center, again, lefty. He's at BU now, described as a two-way forward by Elite Prospects. Michael says, Tynan Lawrence, I think the NCAA route is a sensible path for North American guys in particular. Want to keep the Jay Pandolfo / Devils connection alive. Was also teammates with Cole Iserman. On the reasonable front, I think he might be taken by 13, but he's in the mix as the mid-first round. So, yeah, that'd be kind of the normal pick, I would think, if they walked out with Tynan Lawrence. That's probably pretty good. Where is he at here? He was as high as 4th on Elite Prospects, but as low as 24th as well. But he was described as a two-way forward. A couple of other guys. Hope I get these names right. Super Jazz says Tommy Blyle. I think that's how you pronounce it. And Super Jazz says that because my friend Pete says he's great. Let's go. Okay, Super Jazz. To you and your friend Pete, we salute you. You're into Tommy Blyle. That's cool. We have a guy named Xavier Villeneuve. Speaking of great names, Blyle's a cool name too. Matthew says, I'm no prospect pervert, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. Great use of that. Xavier Villeneuve has the X factor. I don't know if he's being facetious because his name starts with an X, but again, either way, it works for me. Cool name. He got 2 votes, actually, Villeneuve did, as did Blyle, I should say. And then we had a bunch of guys receiving 1 vote each. Novotny was 1. Malte Gustafsson, left-handed defenseman from Sweden, 6'4", another big dude, 2-way mobile D. Elite Prospect says both got 1 vote. We have Ryan Lynn getting 1 vote, as you mentioned before. CMAC Rules 28 says this organization is absolutely bereft at the right-handed D position. Not saying there needs to be a snow draft of all right-handed D, but I do think there needs to be taken to restock the pipeline. That's fair. And our friend Doc Ad says Ryan Lynn, simply so we can have Lynn Sanity 2.0. I'm down with that as well. Maybe that's, steal some of that Knicks magic. Oscar Hemming, who you mentioned before, got a vote. Nolan says, I think this would be a slight reach at 13, but I'm intrigued by Oscar Hemming. I want him to be Finnish Simon Holmstrom. Sure. Sign me up there. Add him to the collection along with Emil Heineman. That'd be a fun group to hang with. Maximilian mentions my favorite guy. He gave 1 vote to Viggo Bjork. I mentioned before, great name, Viggo Bjork. If you can get him for center depth, he also likes Belchis and Cullen as well. And then Kevin finishes us up with Alexander Command. He says, I've watched a combined 11 minutes of film on all the eligible draftees, and I can say with complete certainty that the pick should be Alexander Command because he has a cool name. No argument there. Yeah. Alexander Command does have a cool name. Okay. That's a lot of information and a lot of guys. And Belchitz sounds fine to me. I don't know.
That's a big guy.
Yeah. I'm down for a 6'5", winger.
Yeah. Him and Prokhorov on
sure
flanking, JG Pajot maybe, little guy in the middle.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, what I will say too is the number 13 pick. Here's some names that have gone recently. Last year was Carter Bear. The year before that was that Flyer guy, Jet Lachenko.
Okay.
I think he played for them right out of camp his rookie year, and then everyone was like, "What are you guys doing? This guy's not good enough to be." He's like, he went back down. I don't know where he's standing now, but before that, Zach Benson, everyone's new favorite player from the Sabres. Obviously, Frank Nazar, who was traded who landed with Chicago via the Alex Romanov deal. Matt Coronado. Before that, Seth
Long
Jarvis.
Yeah.
Spencer Knight, Ty Dellandrea, Nick Suzuki, and then Josh Morrissey a few years before that. I mean, it's a funny group of players because there's like some that's you can get Dustin Brown at number 13 or Alex Semin, like that's great, and then or Derek King in 1985 for the New York Islanders. The New York Islanders have had the number 13 pick I think twice in history, and it was Derek King and Dean Chenoweth. So really, really good there. Good job by those late 80s Islanders. And J.S. Shiger, also a number 13 overall pick. Matty Oland. So, you could end up walking out with a Seth Jarvis, right? But you could also end up walking out with Brandon Gormley or Islander killer Yuri Tulutsky. I
was going to say big wingers just remind me of Jordan Greenway. A guy who just got traded, who was like, "Oh my god, look at the size of this guy!" Yeah, and it's like you watch him and you're like, "Yeah, I guess I don't know. He's big, that's for sure."
But that's really the extent of my it's hard, hard to tell if it's what it's gonna be. But I mean, I'm happy to listen. I love listening to other people who like follow this stuff and get really geeked up around here around this time of year. And I would behoove you to seek them out because the ones who are doing it for like the love of the game, to me tend to know what they're talking about rather than the people who are like, "Oh, yep, Sportsnet told me I'm the draft guy now." So
you gotta have. Well, I mean, if you're the Athletic, you have 18 draft guys.
Yes.
And
yeah.
they've been. I don't know what they're going to do when they can't do any more mock drafts. I'm just like, how many more how many times could you redraft the same guys over and over? I don't understand how this industrial complex works. But this was a fun exercise. Thank you again to everybody who wrote in. This was good. Thank you all for following the rules that I laid down. Nobody wrote a book about this. Nobody was like, trade for this guy. Like I said, no trade requests. Let's assume that they're going to use it. And please, nobody be a smart ass and say Gavin McKenna, because he's not going to be there when the Islanders pick. So that all worked out well. But the reality is that again, there's a few guys at the top of the draft, and then I think everybody kind of settles into a regular spot, like a normal, this guy's a pretty good prospect. He's got some good points. He's got some maybe not so good points he needs to work on. And that's all fine and good and fair. And, I don't, again, we're joking here. We want to see something happen. We're hoping the Islanders pick a direction, or, everybody wants their team to make a big splash and get all the pats on the back, and that's all fine and good. But, if they walk out of Buffalo with one of these guys and he's pretty much right where they say he's going to go, or maybe, again, somebody who's kind of slated a little higher falls to them, that's fine too. It's okay. And then, somebody, if they take Ryan Lynn worries me a little bit because he's 5'11", 176 at Villeneuve too, 5'11", 163. These guys, to me, hopefully they fill out a little bit. Or they play like Matthew Schaefer, one or the other. So, I'm a little bit wary of the guys on the smaller side, but other than that, you never know. Like, if there's one thing we've learned through every draft, and you and I have been through a million drafts together, you never know with these guys. Like Alexei Lafreniere was supposed to transform the Rangers into a dynasty. Him and Kakko were supposed to lead them into they were supposed to be the Phil Esposito and Walt Tkachuk of the 2020s or whatever. And one guy's in Seattle, and the other guy, every other day people want to trade him. So like, you never know. You never know with these guys. And maybe the person they take at 13 ends up being the best player in the draft. You never know. Or he ends up being a joke that we make on this show 5 years from now. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It could be anything, which is always kind of where we shake out with these things. But Elite Prospects has a bunch of stuff you want to read up more on these guys. I mean, picking a guy because he's got a cool name, probably not going to work for the Islanders, but for me, it's good enough. Alex Command, welcome to the Islanders.
And you know what? The one other thing I'll hope for is that they go with a Gar Snow seventh their seventh rounders, like in the style of Gar Snow, where he just like drafts a favor. Like when he drafted that goalie Cody Rosen.
Yeah. Oh my God.
The best.
I'm never gonna find out that story.
Oh no. 7th round 2010er of the 2010 draft. If you don't know who Cody Rosen is,
right?
You can just Google him, and basically the Islanders, Gar Snow drafted him because he was friends with someone who was like either his dad or someone, and there's some supposedly some like heartfelt reasons behind it. Nobody knows the whole story, but the point is that he played only one game for, I think, Clarkson or Colgate Clarkson. One of those schools. Not really a powerhouse, but he was like the third goalie of the team, and the Islanders drafted him. They drafted Andong Song.
I was going to say Andong Song, because he was going to be the first Chinese pick, and Charles Wong wanted to do that, and that's beautiful. That's wonderful.
I love it. Yeah. You want to use a 7th round pick on that? Please go for it.
Right.
Where we can find you somebody, but that's my other hope here.
Right.
But as you said, it's
right.
Who knows? Who knows?
Right.
I mean, was it the Matty Beniers and Owen Power were 1-2, or was it Power?
Power was 1. Yeah.
Beniers 2, and
Shane Wright was supposed to. Now he's on the trade block too.
The pain for Shane train. Yeah. So it's just you just never know. You never know. I hope I just hope they like we walk out of the decentralized draft. How dare they?
Right.
How dare they do it again? That we walk out of there with an idea of like, okay, like things are starting to make sense here, and I'm not going into this offseason being like, wow, they're really just gonna try to do what they did last year all over again, just with a new head coach, and hopefully Kyle Palmieri has 2 ACLs for the whole season.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's a thing. Like if they walk out of there again with the best player at the time. By the way, I'm with you. I'm all for them using the 7th round pick on some weird story or whatever. But you could also use that guy on Henrik Lundqvist or Henrik
Right,
Zetterberg.
right.
One of those guys would be great too.
Yeah.
If you want to take Henrik Zetterberg in the 7th round, that's fine by me. I mean, listen, I'm not going to hold my breath that they're going to come out of this with a game plan or whatever. But I think having Peter DeBoer changes things. I think he'll have some input. We should actually. I just realized we should talk about on the island episode 6. Which did actually materialize since the last time we spoke, which is actually quite funny. And so I have a feeling that, if they do that again or make some other kind of behind the scenes content, he will be in the room with them when they make their picks. So, I mean, there's a couple other guys here. You mentioned Keaton Verhoff before. Yeah, he was supposed to be like, 1, 2, or 3, or, for a while there when McKenna, might look like he might not go first overall, but he's dropped precipitously. So, I could maybe see him falling to the Islanders. That'd be kind of fun. He's another big guy, 6'4". He's as high as 2 on Elite Prospects rankings. Also, Maddox Dejanay. It's a center, a lefty out of the Q. Big guy, 6'4", again, 196. So these are some other guys I had on. I went to Elite Prospects and I basically went from I think 7th or 8th to 15th. And I was like, okay, well, maybe one of these guys ends up there. So those are the guys that I found. And then everybody else had a bunch of others. So these are all very scientific, obviously. I definitely know what I'm talking about. But I'm growing my Sam Cosentino handlebar mustache as we speak. We'll see. Listen, we don't know what's going to happen. Just hopefully nothing bad, I guess, is really the only way to put it. And we'll know it's bad if everybody says you guys did a bad thing, which, might also be wrong too. I mean, everybody got all on the Islanders' case for drafting Simon Holmstrom, and he's turned into a pretty darn good player. So nobody's going to ever take that back, but we know that they were wrong. It just took a while, which is fine. Okay, any final thoughts on the draft, the prospects and stuff of the draft? We'll talk more about the draft maybe in the other half, about sort of like kind of weirdness we might see because we've already seen some wild trades. But in terms of like prospects, just guys getting picked. Anything else you want to add before we take our break?
No. I'll just I'll ask you this one question.
Sure.
When they show the war room, they still show the war room, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I know they're not at the folding tables on the floor, but is Lou Lamoriello at the table? Is he in the war room or no? Yes or no?
I will say this. For the sake of Matthew Darsh, I hope he's not. Because when that pick of them at that Bridgeport game came out,
yep,
it was pretty rough. I started feeling a little bit bad for Matthew Darsh. I don't think so. I don't think Lou would do that. I think
Lou's in the room, but he tells the camera to he's like under the lens, so he can't be seen. We only get a reflection of him in in a poster of like Brian Trottier in the room that's there, and you can see, oh my God, that's Lou in the reflection of that poster.
Well, because if they were set up in the locker room, so he could be just like around the corner and somebody's like glasses.
Yes,
that's like a James Bond movie.
That's what we need. Yeah, that's what we need. We just need that.
I could see that. That would actually be very funny. But no, I don't know. I really don't know. It's funny. I mean, I think Ryan Bonus had like interviews for other GM positions, so I'm surprised to kind of see him there during this stuff. So we'll see. I mean, again, I sincerely hope that they do another season of On the Island because I've really enjoyed watching it. Even episode 6, which didn't get into how they missed the playoffs. Just had a bunch of guys. It was Lee and Pollock being like, "Oh yeah, it really sucks when you miss the playoffs." That was about it. So I would like to see more of that kind of stuff, but I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing some more war room footage, seeing Matthew Darsh on his phone, picking up Army, how's it going? Or Sweens when he called Don Sweeney last year. So we'll see. But as far as these guys go, I have no idea. I know we'll be watching. It's on ESPN. I believe it starts at 8:00. Don't believe me on that. Check yourself. But I will be home watching and hoping that things don't go terribly awry. And in fact, as you have been pointing out, the best case scenario, I think, for the Islanders is not only do they get a good player, but we get an idea of what direction they're going to go in. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe it's in the person that they draft. Maybe they make some moves. They do have the 13th pick. Maybe somebody, they trade it. if they trade down and get some more volume, maybe that's what they want to do. Really truly restock the cupboard. They could do that. I think that's also a hockey only phrase. I've never heard that. The Mets are really restocking the cupboard this draft. No, it's never really, they draft a guy. Well, we'll see in 15 years, so that kind of thing. So, and in basketball, they only draft 2 guys, so there's no cupboards to be restocked. But something like that, might happen. Or, again, they take a guy and we're just like, okay, well, I guess the wheels are still in motion here. Is really the lights are still on. Is really the only other conclusion we can draw. So we shall see. Hope everybody has a good time watching the draft. Okay, we're going to take a break. We'll come back on the other side. We will talk about some of the trades that happen here. Maybe we'll have some bold predictions for some more crazy trades that happened at the end of the draft. And talk about whatever else. So meet us on the other side. Thanks. And now a word from our sponsors. VintageIceHockey.com. Over 100 classic hockey logos on t-shirts, jerseys, hats, mugs, and more. Long Island Ducks, Albany Riverettes, Danbury Trashers, Kentucky Thoroughblades, and so many more. Plus a full line of Islanders Anxiety merch with our portion of the sales going directly to the Center for Dementia Research. These incredible items cannot be found in stores, so shop VintageIceHockey.com today. Relax, sit back, and enjoy wine from The Pinot Project. Rosé, Pinot Grigio, or a Pinot Noir that was named a Best Buy by Wine Enthusiast magazine. These wines are delicious, affordable, and available at area wine shops and at UBS Arena. Learn more at thepinotproject.com. And please, drink responsibly.
Hi, this is Ben Green from The Athletic FC. The podcast you're about to listen to is brought to you by Hotels.com. As a Hotels.com member, you save up to 20% on hundreds of thousands of hotels and earn rewards on every single stay, which means the trips you're taking now help pay for the ones you're already dreaming about. And unlike some other places, there are no blackout dates, so when you want to travel, your rewards are ready to go. So the next time you're planning a work trip or a getaway, make sure to book it at Hotels.com and start earning rewards. Hotels.com. It's all in the name.
Okay, real quick before we get into the trades that have been going down all day, it's been kind of wild here. A couple of things. As I mentioned a little while ago, we did put out a Country Club Atmosphere episode on Monday. It is exclusive to the Patreons, the Country Club tier over at the Patreon. So check it out. It's with my friend Sam Fells, expert on the World Cup. Basically, I just sat back and let him and Mike go off on the World Cup, which has been a lot of fun. Sam also has a free newsletter all about the World Cup every single day, recapping the games and previewing the next one. So go to Sam Fells, but who's buying, which is his blog, and sign up for that newsletter. It's fantastic. And listen to the episode. Sign up at patreon.com/Islanders Anxiety for the Country Club tier, and you can listen to it. It's absolutely fantastic. I just love listening to you guys talk about it. You really got me keyed up for it, which is perfect, exactly what I wanted. And then last Friday, as I mentioned in last week's episode, we did a Weird Islanders, the podcast episode with the one and only Josh Hosang. Thank you so much to everybody who has given us compliments and really enjoyed it and send us messages. We've gotten a whole bunch. Really, really appreciate it as always. But this one really meant a lot. Josh was great. We just let him be himself and talk, and it was great to hear. And hopefully, the future is bright for him. We'll see what happens. You can always listen to his music, and it was great. It was a really great episode. I'm glad that we were able to sneak that in. And this coming Friday is our season finale of Weird Islanders, the podcast. It is, of course, the highly anticipated Weirdest Islander of the Year episode. I edited it this weekend. I can't wait for it to go out because it's a lot of fun and it's insane. And we got a great guest who we've had on before, who is phenomenal. And I can't wait. Without spoiling it, do you have any words on the Weirdest Islander of the Year episode, the voting that we did? And the winner of this year's Don Cutts Trophy.
Yeah.
As the Weirdest Islander of the Year.
Yeah, the Don Cutts Trophy. The ceremony, Tony D hands it over. It's like the green jacket.
Right.
At Augusta, right? No, yeah, I mean that was a lot of fun, and it was. I like that. You're a great showrunner because you schedule it at a perfect time where it's far enough out off the season's end. So like the pain, you can laugh at the pain without it hurting as much. And like, so like reliving the seasons and just going through the list of fellas that were in the running.
Yeah.
It's a lot more enjoyable. 2 months after a miserable season, a miserable ending to a season, compared to if we were like, so-and-so wins the Don Kutch trophy 3 days later,
Right.
it would have been a lot more anger towards a lot of different people. So, but yeah, a lot of fun. Kind of just going over the bizarre career of the bizarre Islander career of our weirdest Islander of the year.
Who won in a landslide, by the way. We're just gonna throw that out there. But yeah, no, it's fun. And we go through like the others receiving votes, and then we have a second and third place winner as well. So check it out. Comes out Friday. Perfect content to lead you into the draft, because you're gonna be hearing a lot of draft stuff. Take a break for an hour or so and listen to something completely insane and completely divorced from that night's proceedings. And we really appreciate it. And then it's our season finale. So we're going to take the summer off. No more Weird Islanders until next year. We'll be back in October when the season starts with a whole new slate. I'm sure we'll be working hard all summer long to get some new episodes. And actually, if you listen to the Country Club Atmosphere episode I just mentioned a few minutes ago with Sam, we do set up a future appearance of him by him for a Weird Islanders episode. Sam is a big Blackhawks guy, and right out of the gate, the first guy I picked, he seemed to know very well. So can't wait to get that going for next year as well. Okay, moving on. Mentioned that it's been a little wild around the NHL the last couple of days. A lot of trades happening. The first one, obviously, is the Brady Tkachuk to the Panthers for a couple of first rounders, plus another one in 2029. The Panthers are very going for it. Obviously, the Tkachuk brothers want to play together, podcast together. Their dad gets into the Hall of Fame the next day. Everything's coming up Tkachuk's, and that just sucks. I just hate both of these guys, and this just didn't happen. But I cannot wait to watch Brady Tkachuk get booed out of his pants when he goes back up to Ottawa. And I am so happy for Senators fans that they get to enjoy that the way we enjoyed it. It's obviously different scenarios, but I think it's going to be great. We actually, the Senators made a trade today that I think will also make them very happy, but let's just focus on the Tkachuk thing. Kind of came out of nowhere. It makes total sense, honestly, for the Panthers. I'm just kidding here. I never liked Brady Tkachuk, but it makes total sense for the Panthers. And the Senators get 3 first rounders, and I've seen people be like, "Oh, they really got hosed here." And Nick Kyprios was like,
I love, Kipper was great.
This is terrible. But I'm just like, dude, that's a lot. 3 first rounders is a lot, and one of them's already been traded. But again, we're gonna get there. But what'd you make of the Tkachuk trade, and how much do you hate the Panthers now? How much has that ratcheted up your hatred for the Panthers?
No, I mean, I still look at them as an ally for if they're good and that's fine with me in that division. Totally okay with that. They've done us a lot of favors in previous playoffs, so they've got a lot of runway still with me. Although, with each passing year that they miss the playoffs and allow the Hurricanes to go to, win the Stanley Cup, becomes a little bit harder to feel that way. But my favorite development here is that, all these USA Olympians are sitting at the cool kid table of the cafeteria and being like, let's, do this and go there. And so it's like vilified that team and vilified the Olympics a little bit, which has been pretty funny, but it's also, shed light on something that you and I were like, we always made fun of the trope on hockey Twitter, especially like wish the NHL was more like the NBA with like the player movement and all the stars being traded and all that. And now that they're all being like, oh yeah, no, we're going to be traded. We're just going to be traded away from Canadian teams to American teams. They're all like, this is an outrage, like why? This is terrible. So I've been enjoying watching that, and also wondering, all these people are like, oh man, it sucks this sucks for Senators fans. It sucks for Red Wings fans. And, it sucked for Flames fans, and it may suck for Jets fans if Connor Hellebuck goes and all that. And never heard anyone be like, God, those poor Islander fans,
Yeah.
Oh man. And in fact, we were treated the opposite, which was like, well, what did you expect?
Right.
Why would he stay?
He doesn't owe you anything.
Yeah. Right.
Okay,
Right.
Thanks for nothing.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Yep. And we got nothing for him.
Right.
So yeah, I get the looking at that, but I mean, I was thinking about it this way, that had someone come up to them on January 8th and been like, we'll trade you the 9th pick and, the 27th or whatever it is, and the first round pick in 2029 for Tkachuk. I think the Senators would probably laugh at that offer, but then obviously as things changed and he negotiated that no movement clause into his contract for each. So I can't be mad. He negotiated that in good faith. And he had the hammer and he used it. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but this is life as a small, we've lived our entire lives as a small market team. So like when this stuff happens and people get mad at Vegas or they get mad at now the Florida teams or whoever for using their, flexing their muscles, I'm like, I've been living with this my whole life. Nobody has ever once been like, I'm demanding a trade to the New York Islanders.
Oh, and they never will.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's all this, kind of kvetching about this. And I just think it's just another day in the league. It's just the teams are changed, right? It used to be the Rangers and the Penguins.
Right.
I mean, it was the Oilers for a little bit too. Like people were like, yeah, we'll go to Edmonton and play with, it was the Oilers twice, Gretzky and then McDavid and,
not anymore.
Not anymore.
Nobody's going to want to go there now.
Yeah, a little different now. Oh God. Yeah. So as you said,
funny.
yeah, but yeah. So I mean, when Tavares left, which once again wasn't the same reaction. It was more celebrated than anything else. People were like, yeah, Toronto's a destination, and so like we've lived through this. LA, I don't understand why people feel blindsided by this. It's I'm sure there's a lot of people who Brady Tkachuk was their favorite Senator ever, and I for sure feel for those people, but I don't think this is something that's like gonna bowl me over, because it's now fans of the Rangers and the Blackhawks and the Penguins and the Maple Leafs are like, this is unfair. Yeah, because they're not choosing your team.
They actually had a great discussion about this on the Tri-State Hockey podcast that came out just this afternoon. I listened to it while I was at work, and somebody asked, they had one of the callers asked Mike Rupp, like, what do players actually look for in this case? And a lot of times it's just teams that win. And that's the teams you're seeing here: Florida, Vegas, Tampa, Carolina, who just won the Cup, at Dallas, who's been good over the last few years. So, the tax stuff, the weather, but ultimately, I mean, in Brady Tkachuk's case, like, honestly, his brother played, so like, let's
right.
But it's about winning, and that's what they want. I think what gets me about it, what annoys me about it, is it's just like, really, dude? Like, I don't know how else to put it. It's just it's so basic and so like, so when everybody comes out with the same four teams, it's like, come on.
Right.
Really? You're going to do this to us too?
Right now it's those four teams but it was, it was always the Rangers. It was just, so like we've lived, like, that's why I'm like,
that's true.
I'm almost relieved. I'm like, good. Yeah. Go. You guys want to keep going to the Panthers and the Golden Knights?
Yeah.
Go for it. As long as you're not, I know you're not coming here, maybe like 6-7 years down the line, and, Schaefer trends in the way he is, and that winning, the magnetism of winning does attract people here. Great. I won't hold my breath that this will ever happen, but as long as they're not, it was always the number one team on everyone's list for 20 years until Chris Drury started to run everybody out of town, was the Rangers. I mean, that just ended.
Right.
that phenomenon just ended like 2 seasons ago, or the beginning, and it still, there's still that attraction. And so, yeah, this is, to me, I'll wake up in the morning and feel pretty relieved that these are the 4 hot teams. And and of course, Tom Dunn did text everyone, be like, oh, by the way, we were on his list too. And but we just, we came up third out of 3. But yeah, as long as it's, not that team, I'm okay with it. So I don't know. I also feel like this is the bed that everybody made by wish casting this exact stuff happening more in the NHL. Because they wanted it to be more like the NBA, and like, well, now the guys that you were supposed to be attracted, or the guys you were supposed to be attached to are doing this. So like, now you got to live with that,
it's funny because like, I get the thing that like, oh, it's just like the NBA, but it's kind of not, because like in the NBA, as I think I might have mentioned this once or twice on the show, like only 2 people had no movement clause. One of them was
Right.
Bradley Beal. I forget who the other one was. It wasn't so like in the NBA, yeah, there's lots of trades and there have been super teams and things like that, but like those guys just had to get traded there. Like, yeah, you could have guys. I mean, Kevin Durant has, tried to force his way to various teams and has done that too. I mean, he kind of forced his way to Golden State and, but like, then you could also just wake up and find out that, oh, this guy, James Harden is now playing for the Sixers. Like what, how did that happen? So like there's a lot more freedom there. Whereas here it like seems to be a small cabal of players, all of whom won gold medals for the U.S. team several months ago, all conspiring to go to like the same handful of teams. And that's the difference. It's
no, it's true. It's like almost like a march towards something inevitable. You're like, oh yeah, well, Brady Tkachuk is going to be on the Panthers either now or in 6 months or in a year. And this is like the same thing with, Quinn Hughes. And
I mean, we all knew Marner, although he's not part of that. We all knew he was going to sign with Vegas. I guess he's probably a bad example, but like guys who get traded to Vegas, like, I think Jack Eichel, when he went there, it was like, oh yeah, this makes sense. So again, that's also probably a bad example, but you get what I'm saying.
yeah. No, it was, I mean, it's exactly right. We know where these guys are. Like Dylan Larkin is not getting traded to the Winnipeg Jets, right?
Right.
Like, it's just like,
or the New York Islanders or the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So, I will say one of the funniest things that's been going on I don't know if you picked up on this too, in like the Leaf, Master Leaf Theater universe, Jonas Siegel for about 3.5-4 weeks now has just been like, I wonder if the Leafs can trade Matthew Nyes for Zach Werenski. And like everybody around him just like talking about how these American players don't want to play in Canada and like, they don't want to go to Toronto right now because of Matthews, the way Matthews and Marner were treated by people like, checks notes, Jonas Siegel and like, and all that. So, but even today on the radio, I just happened to listen to Overdrive up there in Toronto, and they had Mr. Meaty Rap himself on, Pierre LeBrun. And Jonas literally was like, I can't wait to ask Pierre. I have a really interesting name for the Leafs to target. And they're like, oh, O'Neill and Brian Hayes are like, who is it? He's like, Zach Werenski. And they're like, you think he's gonna get traded to the Leafs? And the way Jonas Siegel mentioned it is be like, you guys probably have never heard of this guy because he plays in Columbus in a small team, but Werenski, I was, but it's that's been one of my favorite ripple effects of this entire situation, is that all these people who live in fantasy land can't grasp like what's going on here, which is that these guys like they don't want to play up in Canada because you guys are all insane.
Right. Yeah. You're insane.
Yep.
The weather isn't as good.
Yep.
And the taxes aren't as good, but also the teams aren't winning.
Right.
And they don't win. So
right, they're acting like it's a new phenomenon. I'm like, you mean since 1993? Like,
yeah.
There's been a lot of guys who, if you've been watching the league, are like have.
Man, I gotta listen to that because that's amazing. That's
it was
like
so good. I listened to like 3 minutes of the entire thing, and when I heard that, and Brian Hayes was like, all right. Like, I think you're missing the point of what's going on here, Jonas.
I just love the idea of Jonas, incredibly smug Jonas, being like, I got it.
Yeah.
They're never going to see this coming because they don't pay attention to Columbus the way I do.
That is,
and then he has this thing and they're just like, are you stupid? What are you talking about?
Yeah. They're like, we just spent like 90 seconds of airtime talking about how these guys don't want to play. There's like a mass exodus of Americans leaving Canada, and you're sending an American to Canada.
Yeah.
And one that what are the Leafs gonna? They don't have anything to trade for this guy, Jonas. Like, it was so good. It was like they just in the dead of night, if they just go to Ohio, the talented Mr. Chayka and Matt Sundin, and just throw a burlap sack over this guy's head.
All I gotta say, listen, I don't know Jonas Siegel. I'm not going to pretend to. I'm sure this isn't the first time he's been humiliated like this. All I got to say is, if you lose a battle of wits to Jeff O'Neill, you should probably find a new line of work. That's about as bad a look as you could have, man. Like that's not good. Brian Hayes is also not a genius either. But in any event, thank you for telling me that, because I got to check that out. Okay, so that was the Tkachuk trade. People are still talking about it, reverberating everywhere. Again, I can't wait for Senators fans to to launch into him. We're counting on you guys. I want to hear it. I mean, we've heard all this, like, oh, this is going to be bad.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy. Marner's going to be crazy. Everybody gets a kid glove treatment. We've shown you the way. All you got to do, go back, look at February, 28th, 2019. Go back and watch that game and see how it's done.
It's not going to be the old boo and clap, right?
No.
Yeah.
No cheering during the video. Just let them have it. It's more fun that way. Okay, but that was just the one trade. So that happened Sunday night. Monday, everybody, I guess, got work. And again, reminder that the draft is decentralized. It's not like everybody's like hanging out in Buffalo making these trades. And not like everybody's, tracking Jim Rutherford through the tables, like they're trying to get a hold of him to talk to him. But we had a bunch of trades happen today, starting with the Flames acquiring Simon Nemec from the New Jersey Devils, along with a player you all know and love, Maxim Siplikov. They're on their way to Calgary for defenseman Etienne Morin, a second-round pick in this draft, number 35th overall, a first-round pick in 2027 or 2028, and a first-round pick in the 2020. So I guess 2 first-rounders. It's a lot. It's a lot for Simon Nemec. Again, I'm not sure what the Flames are doing, but Nemec had been kind of earmarked out of Jersey for a long, long time. I don't know what they're going to do with Max Siplikov or who they think they're getting. I mean, we joke all the time about people not watching the Islanders. If you're a Flames fan that knows who Max Siplikov is, God bless you, because I don't think I would know if I didn't need to know who he was. But that's a fun one. And then that one, people chewing on it. Yeah, okay, that's an interesting one. Nemec's young player. Obviously the Flames need all the help they can get. It's it's a lot, but it seems like they need a lot of help. And then in the afternoon, all hell breaks loose. The Senators, who again had 3 first-round picks for a while, trade one of those picks to the Sharks for William Eklund and 2 other players. That they traded the number 9 pick, which was the Panthers pick. Now goes to the Sharks for William Eklund, brother, of course, of Victor Eklund, the Islanders prospect. And then the Blackhawks, after that was a trade that Islanders fans, I'm sure, noticed. The Washington Capitals acquired Jordan Kyrou from the St. Louis Blues for a haul of stuff. Forward Connor McMichael, Milton Gastrine, another forward, and their first-round pick this year, which was number 16 overall. And then finally, just before we actually came on to talk, the Blackhawks acquired Bowen Byram, defenseman from the Buffalo Sabres, plus Jordan Greenway, who I mentioned before. Big dude. I don't know. Never really all that impressive. He gets sent to Chicago for defenseman Louis Crevier. The Blackhawks' first-round pick this year, which is the number 4 overall pick, and a second-round pick, number 45. Wait a minute. Is that the Islanders' pick? It is.
Oh, no.
I just realized that now. Holy shit.
Oh, no.
So the Sabres have acquired the Josh Bailey pick in this trade for Bowen Byram. So I know that's a lot. I know I throw a lot at you. Please go to NHL.com and read up on this. They have their trade tracker up here. Where do you want to start? I mean, with all due respect to Simon Nemec and Max Siplikov, I think we can kind of move on from there.
Yeah.
I mean,
I want to say one thing about Siplikov. First of all, I wish him well. I have a very enjoyable,
of course,
player. But I feel like the Flames always get guys with very exotic names, like last names.
Yes.
So I feel like seeing Siplikov in that beautiful, their current
that makes
red,
sense.
That'll be beautiful to see
true.
him. You can have him on a line with Yegor Sharangovich.
Right.
And
Curtis Glencross, bring him back.
Yeah. But like they have, they've got Oli Mata. They've got Zane Perek. So you can have, and Jan Kuznetsov's on that team. Like you can have a lot of Z's and Y's and double letters coming on. So, and that's the Flames to me. The Flames are just a team that always has.
We call it the Zarly Zalapsky rule, right?
Yes,
for Calgary,
yeah, of course, exactly. So, best of luck to Max Siplikov. I guess we can start with Kyrou because, we started with Siplikov, the biggest name on the move, but we'll move on to Kyrou because, unlike, I guess Simon Nemec was never a former future Islander, but he was sort of getting there. Like there was a
theory there that he might,
it was like to trade him for whoever, Yzerman, or I don't know, but whatever. Jordan Kyrou is a former future Islander in my mind. Like he absolutely, makes the grade with, he can play on the wing with Naz Kadri, like this is a guy who
in the drawer.
A lot of people had Jordan Kyrou kind of like penciled in on this team, not only at the trade deadline, but also in this offseason. And I was never like, I was never somebody who's like, we got to get this guy. He does something that the Islanders could really use, which is score goals. The thing that was killing me today was, once again, seeing these teams just go and get their guy and like kind of like stamp what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say what you want about the Kyrous and the Byrams of the world and the price, and you can litigate that elsewhere, but if they gave up too much. But the Capitals are like, no, we're just gonna try to win again next year, like we did last year, and we came up short, but we tried to do it the year before that, and the year before that, and the year before that, and the year before that. And since Alex Ovechkin has basically, since he did that helicopter goal against Brian Boucher, like the Capitals have just always tried to win. So what they're going to do, and this trade was that. And the Blackhawks have been a mess for quite some time now after winning 3 Stanley Cups in 5 years or whatever the hell they did. So I don't really feel bad for them. But this is a trade was like, no, like it's the classic, screw those picks kind of thing. We're going to go get an actual like realized NHL player, and maybe he's the number 1 defenseman, Bowen Byram. I've got no idea what he turns into in that role. But once again, it was a team that's like going to do it. And so like that's what became frustrating, especially because one of the teams is in the Islanders division,
right?
And the Islanders finished a little bit ahead of them. And so you're like, well, who can pass us? Well, you have the Capitals ahead of the Islanders at this point.
Yeah.
Going into next season, the Devils made a trade. I don't think it really helps them for the season, but they like were around and doing something to move their plan forward under, as Nick Kypreos calls him, Sonny.
Yeah.
You know, just
well,
he doesn't ever say his last
first
name.
rounders, which
yeah,
is
exactly.
Perfect,
so like
analytical trade thing. Yeah.
And they can use those for something else. Maybe Quinn Hughes. I don't know. Like, but like there's that. Meanwhile, it's just like the Flyers traded for a couple of days ago for Joseph Woll.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say there was a bunch more. Michael Kesselring got traded to the Sharks. Darren Radish, and we didn't even talk about him, got traded to the Leafs and signed that big extension.
Right.
Mackie Samoskevich got traded from the Panthers to the Kraken, which got them the first-round pick that they then used to get Brady Tkachuk. So it's been a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe part of this is just the old, like, it's fun, do something kind of thing.
Right.
But also it's like the NHL offseason nominally is from the day you're eliminated to September 15th when camp opens, you'd say.
Yeah.
But in reality, it ends on like July 2nd. Like not much happens after July 2nd.
Right.
And the Islanders had a lot of time to get themselves situated and in position to make these trades or make moves leading into the draft. And I know there's still time, and maybe this point is moot because they do something tomorrow or whatever, but it doesn't feel like they even have the flexibility to do it, because while these other teams are crossing lists, items off their to-do list by trading for Bowen Byram or Jordan Kyrou, the Islanders haven't even like made the room to be able to pull anything off like that, because all these guys that, once again, it's disrespectful, but like the dead weight contracts are still on the books. So the Island, and that's been the frustration, and a frustration point, I think, not just among me and you, but the whole fan base, which is like the Islanders needed to have flexibility in this offseason. Like last offseason, we said, it's okay to like go in and just have no idea and let fate run its course because of where they were. But it's not okay to do that again. And that's my fear here, is that these other teams are seemingly enacting plans while the Islanders are like not even in position to make one because of what's going on. And they somehow are in like a less stable spot than they were before last season, when we're like, oh, who knows what could happen? Like, that's scary.
If anything, they're too stable. Like they're just like you said, they can't move, they can't do anything. And so sometimes maybe their only option is to just, again, keep the lights on and just keep doing the same thing. And like, again, I really hate doing this again, but like, it just that Schenn trade, and like maybe Braden Schenn has a breakout season at 38 years old or whatever. Like maybe he has a great season, right? And maybe he scores 25 or 30 goals, right? And he has a really, really good season. And that's all maybe fine and good. And he seems like a terrific guy. Maybe he settles into the Island, and maybe he's at alumni night and he's the next, director of hockey, player personnel or whatever, hockey, development. Like, and maybe he ends up, having a 30-year career with the Islanders after his playing days are over. Like, you never know. But like, trading a first round pick for him sends a signal that we're going with this group, and they did that and they missed the playoffs. So now you're just like, okay, well, what's left? And he's just another one of those legacy contracts that's on the books. They just you can't do anything with. Like, they're not going to trade him. They just acquired him, So that's the thing. If anything, they're too locked into a lot of this stuff. And
yeah, they lock that. That's almost like what we're saying. We're like the one thing you can't do if you if we go back 365 days before the draft, like the one thing you can't do is put yourself in a position where you are, even you've compounded the problem that Lou left with all these contracts, and they've done that, which is,
they did that.
and that's what was making me, there's all this excitement going around in the NHL, and I know I'm a cynical sports fan, but I was thinking was like, yeah, the Islanders they're not even part of any of these conversations because they can't be. Everyone looks at them and is like, oh no, you can't make this happen because you got, $20-something million of contract that you can't move. Like, maybe that's what they could have done with the 29th pick instead, which is like, here's a first round pick, but you also got to, you'll it's a sweetener to take these contracts, and yeah,
which is how their second round pick ends up in Buffalo.
Now it's in Buffalo, right?
For Byram. But I'll give you another side to that coin though, and I don't think this is necessarily playing devil's advocate or anything, but I'm looking at the costs here. Like, yes, the Senators got William Eklund, who is a very good young player. He's only 23 years old. And honestly, if you just lost Brady Tkachuk and you more or less replace him with William Eklund, that's pretty darn good. And if I'm a Senators fan, I'm pretty happy, right? But they had to give up the number 9 pick overall. Like, that's kind of a high price to play for a guy. Now, he might be good.
Byram pick, yep.
Yeah, the Byram trade is a lot. They gave up the 4th overall pick. The 4th overall pick is going to Buffalo. Like, you have the 4th overall pick, and now you've just traded it for a guy who's good. I mean, Byram is good, but like, is he 4th overall pick good? I don't know. A lot of people don't seem to know. And listen, number 45 is no, that's not a cheap thing either. Like, that's a lot. Crevier apparently isn't that good, but still. Now, again, they got Bowen Byram. Like that's what you're saying. They got their guy, but at what cost?
Right.
The Kyrou thing, at first I was like, my first thought, honestly, is, and this is how I take in too much Islander/hockey, kind of content every day, is thank God it's over.
I know.
I don't have to think about this idiot anymore.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, thank God.
It's done. It's done. It sucks that he's playing for a team in their division, but it's done. And I don't have to worry about this anymore. And then I looked at and that was before I even knew what went to the Blues in exchange. And I was like, damn, that's a lot. Yeah. Connor McMichael's a good player. He had 29 goals a couple of years ago, right? Or something like that. Yeah. He had 26 goals 2 years ago and 14 last year.
The Blues now have four first-round picks.
4 first-round picks. I don't know anything about Milton Gastrine, but like that. But that seems like a lot. And then I started thinking, and this is always like a loser's game, but I end up doing this anyway. Okay, well, what would the Islanders version of this look like? And it might be Cal Ritchie and Cole Yzerman and the 13th overall pick for Jordan Kyrou. And it's like,
right.
Is that what people wanted? I don't know. I don't know. Like, the thing about Kyrou to me, and this is, we're getting a little bit off topic here, but like, did anybody ever explain why he went from like back-to-back 30 goals to 14 or whatever it was this year? I mean, I know he had problems with Berube. They didn't get along. He had some sort of, whatever issues with it. And I understand that. And that's fine. He's human. That's okay. But what happened? Like, I just want to know what happened. And that's what always worried me about the Islanders making a Kyrou trade. Are they getting 30-goal Jordan Kyrou, or are they getting 14-goal Jordan Kyrou? Because I'm telling you right now, I know what history suggests. And it ain't the 30-goal guy. That's the thing. We've been through this mill a couple of times. So that was always my worry. But now that's the Capitals' problem. And, of course, because he got traded to the Capitals, guess what? He's now going to be 45-goal Jordan Kyrou guy. So that's another thing entirely. But, I was glad it's over. And I looked at that cost, and I was like, man, I don't know if I would have wanted to give up the Islanders equivalent to that, to be honest. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think I feel the same way about both those trades.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm not like coveting my neighbor's trades more than I am like thinking, well, I'd like to see like a little, like a sign of life here from that you're trying to make the team better, because I don't know if that's what you're actually trying to do. Like, I don't know if like the plan,
what's the plan?
Yeah.
What's
like if you went in, if somebody just went like a hockey, loser like us, who's just in the weeds, as you're saying, like just always on hockey Twitters and whatever, comes up to you and was like, oh yeah, like, I'm a Nashville Predators fan. What's the Islanders plan for this off season and season? I'd be like, I honestly don't know. I don't really know. Like, right now I would say that the most likely outcome is that they just go into the next season with almost the same exact roster, with maybe one young guy pushing Mark Gatcomb. Do you know him? No? Okay. Pushing him out of like a lineup spot. But other than that, maybe there's another backup goalie instead of Dave Riddick, but I don't know. But like, I wouldn't be able to tell you, because I don't even think like I keep saying, I don't even think that they're in a position where they can have an idea of what they want to do, because like they've and it's not all on the current GM. It's obviously a lot of it falls on what Lou did with these deals, but like they haven't been able to dig themselves out of a bunch of holes and create a plan. And what's frustrating is we were at least told before the last draft, when Darsh was just hired, and there's all this buzz about a new era, that like, the plan is pretty simple. Like, we're going to go after, we were trying to get younger, faster, fresher, and bring a kind of a new identity to this team and freshen it up, and we're like, that's great. That sounds like a plan.
Right.
And we can all get on board. And then 4 months later, the exact opposite somebody they executed in like the exact opposite way of that. And now we're at a spot where we're like, well, what now? Like, I don't think that trading, like you said, like Simon Holmstrom and the 13th overall pick for Jordan Kyrou would have been like a wise thing to do. But there's probably other things that this team could be doing and at least being talked about doing, that you're like, okay, yeah, it makes sense that they're trying to get this guy because he fits with this vision, or they're trying to trade this guy because we're past it. And I just don't even know. And and I will acknowledge the hypocrisy of being like being preemptively heartbroken that Anders Lee isn't gonna come back if he doesn't. But like my point remains, which is that even the smoke signals on that are very confusing.
I was gonna say we went from like, oh, there's no movement, to I hear they're talking again. So I don't even want to get into Lee, honestly. Like, I'd rather just wait and see what happens. Either he signs with somebody else or he's back. Like, and then we can talk about it. But it's funny, because while you were mentioning that, I was thinking to myself, I wonder if just maybe their plan is to just let a lot of these contracts expire on their own and just kind of go with what they've got until those guys are gone. But that they can't even do that, because okay, fine, next year let's assume that the roster is more or less the same. So next year, Palat and Palmieri and Cizikas and McLean are all UFAs, and actually Gatcomb too, and they're all gone. But then you've got 2 more years of Pajot, you got another year of Shen, you got another year of Duclair, you got 5 more years of Engvall or whatever.
Engvall, baby.
And then the defense they're all locked in. The Pellick is at the next UFA, and that's 29-30 at the end of the 2030 season. So like, by then, obviously, Schaefer will have a big fat contract of his own that's going to go into forever, hopefully. So like, they can't even do that. You can't even just ride these guys out, because they're stuck here too. So
that's what I'm saying. They were already painted into a corner. Like, I will give Matthew Darsh that. Like, he was painted into a corner and had to wiggle his way off the hook a little bit last year, but he instead bit down harder on it, and that's a little confusing. And I'm happy you brought up Engvall, Always happy you bring up Engvall, but because I actually have another question for you
Sure.
in the same vein as that Lou Lamoriello War Room question, which is if you went up to Braden Shen on 7th Street in Garnet City tomorrow and you asked him, "Hey Braden, what NHL team does Pierre Engvall play for?" Do you think he would know the answer?
I mean, I got to think they maybe met at breakup day.
I hope so.
But
Yeah,
I
he's like,
mean, he's got a big young guy, handsome. He's got a huge neck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know him. Like it would be kind of that, but
yeah.
it might. I mean, I assume he's also got like a lot of. He's like moving his kids and stuff, so he's probably got a lot more on his mind than Pierre Engvall. But I mean, it's definitely not 100%. Like it might be, but then again, Shen seems like a nice guy, so maybe he is the kind of person who would know who Pierre Engvall is,
right?
Like, away.
Like, do you think Carson Soucy was like ever, will go the rest of his days being like, oh yeah, no, that guy was on the same team as Pierre Engvall? He'd be like, no, like I just,
I doubt that,
because he was just so,
right,
out of the picture last year, and
no, I doubt that. So, so I don't know. And I get what you're saying. And like, the biggest thing, but then, and we could start to wrap it up here, but like, as I was seeing these trades formulating and seeing the prices people are paying and stuff, and Kyle Davidson, the GM of the Blackhawks, has already taken some shots for this Byram trade, which, I thought Byram was a fine player, but this seems like an awful lot to give up. I started thinking to myself, you know what? Maybe the best thing for the Islanders to do is nothing. Just bring everybody, like, because then unless there is some kind of trade that they can make where, and we could here's where we can get into some of our funny predictions for the draft. Like if they could trade, say, Duclair and Engvall to somebody, who needs bodies for a second or third round pick, let's say a third round pick, then that is actually a productive trade. Because that's exactly what you're talking about. Frees up room to maybe bring in some young blood here and get some new guys in here and start to change the roster a little bit for the first time in a long time. But I can't guarantee that they could even do that. Like who is even going to want to do that?
Yeah, they'd have to throw in
exactly
a bunch to, I think, to get. I mean, Duclair's, I think, probably tradable in like a you could. There's a lot of talk about like Morgan Riley, and I don't think he's the fit, but like that kind of player where it's like, yeah, you want to get out of that trade,
right?
That contract, we got to get out of this one. How you can trade Anthony Duclair, you can just lump them all together, send them to the Oilers for Darnell Nurse's $9.5 million contract, right?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, that's the point. It's like there's just getting off of these deals has been priority number one, since the season ended. And they haven't, I mean, with the way things have been leaking out of the Islanders the past year, like you'd think that we would know if they were, trying and close to getting the Duclair contract or the, whatever, the Pelech, close to a Pelech trade, whatever it is that they need to do to freshen things up. But that just hasn't really been out there. And all the stuff that has been very dubious, I would say. So, that's my concern here is like that. I just feel like it's too hard, they're about to like do you need two teams to tango to make a trade. And that's why our biggest acquisitions this offseason are healthy Palmieri and healthy Romanov, which has already been said actually by the GM at the breakup day. So, but I that's my fear here is like, if they're not trying to get better, then what are you going to do? Because you've got not only Schaefer, entering year 2, didn't make the playoffs with him in his historically generational, like took over the sports world for a little bit there rookie season. You didn't get him to the playoffs then. You had a Vezina goalie, Horvat, Barzal in their prime. Like what's going to happen now? Like, I mean, and it sucks because I don't want Brady Tkachuk going to the Panthers or Jordan Kyrou going to the Capitals to make me be like, why aren't we doing something, But that's what they're doing. That's what these trades are doing. I can't just laugh, all along. And, I mean, I've been having a lot of fun laughing at whatever the hell's going on in Edmonton.
Yeah,
but
we don't even have time to get into all that. But I think for the Islanders, it boils down to something that we kind of dance around but haven't really verbalized. Nobody wants these guys. Nobody wants these guys. The guy, I mean, or I should say that the guys that they want, then they're not going to trade, and they're making a lot of money. So like somebody would probably take Matt Barzal, but what are they going to get for him? Like, what are they going to get back that's commensurate to that? Also, he's making $9 million, so maybe they'll have trouble fitting that in. Like, do I want to trade Matt Barzal for Darnell Nurse? No, I don't. But the guys that we need them to get rid of, nobody wants, except the Islanders. Like, it's really hard to look at it that way. But we'll see. There's going to be some serious FOMO, I think, happening during this draft, because I don't think they're going to do much. But you never know. Maybe Matthew Darche is sitting on some kind of blockbuster. Actually, it's funny. You were talking about like him being painted into a corner when he took the job. What's funny is that the trickiest thing that he had to deal with was the Dobson situation. Right. And he did great there. Right. It's like he identified that he was going to want too much and they were going to spend way too much on him. And maybe he wasn't the right player to get that kind of money. Where does he want to go? He wants to get traded to Montreal. Okay, that's fine. We're going to take these 2 picks and then he used them on 2 highly touted prospects. Like, that's perfect. That's fantastic.
Right.
And then since then, it's just kind of been all
right. And
all
that
sort of,
that was part of the whole, like, oh, this is what the team's trying to do. Right.
Right.
Like we're
exactly
got a couple picks, we got, but these 2 prospects, we got a young roster player with some upside.
Right.
That's going to be the Darche blueprint. Great.
Right.
Wait, what's Andre Palat doing here?
Yeah, exactly. Right. And then all of a sudden it's like,
right.
Oh, yeah.
So that's my, and once again, just reiterating these like specific deals to me. I mean, the Byram trade, especially, I'm like, yeah, I'll have none of that. Like, I wouldn't want to give up the 4th overall pick for this guy. But the point being that the Blackhawks are like, we're going to go do this because that's the direction we're going. And I'm like, God, I would love to know what direction we're going in. And maybe it is like you keep saying, like, I'm just trying my best to not think that the direction is the same direction we've been doing since UBS Arena opened.
I mean, I could only assume that's
exactly.
Yeah. So
and just hearing that, we just we couldn't make the moves. It's gonna, boy, I'm gonna practice my laptop shutting, skill for when that press conference comes. Isles are done for the day, and nothing. The only thing they did was sign Vitek Vanacek and whatever, and Matthew Darche then saying, like, we've been trying to improve the team, and it's just not,
right.
This is what it is. It's just, boy, man, am I gonna? I'm gonna.
We feel very strongly about this group.
Here, right? Yeah, we were close. We know that we were we were close to playoffs, and a couple things go our way. I mean, everything went your way last year. That's the scary
we were
part.
in second place going into the Olympic break, and then we couldn't, bring it home, and then so we feel we're close, and then they're gonna spend half the season in last place. But anyway, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. Okay, that was a lot. I want to stop there. We can get into episode 6 of On the Island at a different time. I do appreciate it. Was funny that here we are complaining that they're never going to do that because it would be bad, and then like a week later, like, oh, here it is, like, oh, great. But it was good. I really do appreciate that they did that. It was a very cool thing. They didn't get as granular into the collapse as I would have liked. Obviously, they're not going to do that. That's kooky to think that they were going to do that, but I think all things considered, they did a great job. They had a very heartfelt story with Matt Barzal and a young fan. That was really cool. Obviously, they followed Matthew Schaefer and all that. So hopefully we'll get a season 2. That'd be a lot of fun. Please enjoy the draft. Hopefully the Islanders come out of it as winners, but I wouldn't hold my breath. So there you go. And maybe one of the guys that our patrons liked ends up being their pick. You never know.
Who were we saying we wanted? Christy Brinkley. We want Christy Brinkley to announce the pick. That's what we want there. I can't remember who we decided. Somebody asked us in a mailbag, who should be the next, and I think we landed on Christy Brinkley.
Yeah, I mean, well, Pat LaFontaine was their pick, but I don't know how that would sit with Sabres fans. So
right.
I'm always happy to see Pat.
Maybe he'll do 4, and then he'll come back out for 13 too, as long as he doesn't do the Rangers pick. But get ready to see Pascal Dupuis up there, which is a little.
I was gonna say, I wonder if it'll be Matthew Schaefer, like have him do the announcing. Right. That'd be kind of fun. So, I mean, he's been everywhere else. They've been they've strapped their wagon to his horse, and they got a lot of stuff going on there. So, we'll see. We'll see, but it'll be a fun one. I won't be able to watch much of day 2, but we will be back next week, regular time. We're going to record an episode on Sunday that'll come out on Monday as normal. So we'll tie up the draft and any other craziness that happens. And then we will be back next Friday. We're going to record an episode Thursday, which is July 2nd, recapping the first couple of days of free agency. And that will be our season finale for the main feed. Again, we'll be doing stuff all summer long at patreon.com/Islanders Anxiety. If a big trade or something happens, obviously we can jump on, but that'll be where we'll wrap things up. And we'll be back in October for season 11 of Islanders Anxiety, which is insane to think about. We have seen a lot over these last 11 years.
A lot of drafts.
Oh my God. A lot of drafts.
A lot of drafts.
Yeah. Not a lot of playoff games. Although we had a fun stretch there for a little while there. So that was cool. But yeah, so I heard a lot last year, like, hey, is Islanders Anxiety coming back? Did they stop? Yes, we just take the summer off, man. There's a lot of work. We need a break. We have families. We got kids and shit, man. Like we got to take time for ourselves. So we take the summer off, but we will be back in October, I promise you. But that, so we got 2 episodes left basically this season. We got next Monday and then next Friday as well. And that'll be it. So again, patreon.com/Islanders Anxiety all summer long. We do stuff there all the time. Our theme song is Morning Haze by Family Dinner. Listen to more of their music on Spotify. Read Lighthouse Hockey every single day throughout this entire crazy period for your most up-to-date Islanders news and discussion. Islanders Anxiety Podcast are part of the Fans First Sports Network. Find us wherever you can, get your podcast. Leave us a review wherever you can. Please subscribe to our pathetic YouTube channel, which doesn't really do much at all. But anywhere you can leave us a review, tell somebody. We really, really appreciate it. Shop VintageIceHockey.com. Try wines from the Pinot Project. Mike, any final thoughts before we dive in? Oh, we never did our crazy predictions for the draft. Let's do one right now. Do you have a crazy prediction for the NHL draft?
Yeah, I mean, my Islanders related.
Yeah, it could be if you.
Yeah, yeah. No, my Islanders prediction is, I alluded to it before, is that they trade down. They trade down and they gar snow it and get I don't know, a handful of picks in the late first and second round and go that way and then the second day they draft that 7'1" goalie that I've seen talked about.
That's right.
I think, is he 7 foot? Is he a goalie? I don't even know if he's a goalie. He's there's like a 7'1" prospect.
Yeah, no, it's a defenseman.
A defenseman.
7'1" defenseman. Yeah.
Yeah. So they'll end up taking that guy. And other than that, my league wide prediction is absolutely nobody gets traded on actual draft day, even though they say all day long they're like, oh, there's so much going on on the decentralized draft floor. But in the group chat, the group chat is buzzing. So I'll go ahead and make the safe bet that there's no big trade at the actual draft.
Oh, that's a good one. Alexander Karmenov, 7'1" tall defenseman.
Yeah, I mean,
so there you go. So Karmenov, that's the guy. So yeah, maybe we'll see. My bold prediction is not bold at all. I do think the Islanders will get a 2nd round pick.
Wow.
Somehow, one way or another. That. It might involve Anthony Duclair. Might involve somebody else. I don't know. But I'm going to go ahead and say that. And
wow, this guy's from Moldova. He's
oh, damn. Like Marina Shafir of AEW from Moldova. That's a fun one. Leave it to the Islanders. Have the first Moldovan,
we need the Moldovan.
Yeah, go for it. I mean, listen, again, we started this episode talking about guys. Who do you want to pick? I like this guy's name. Okay, works for me. Like that's all we know. So guy from Moldova, perfect. Sign me up. But we'll see. But yeah, no, I think the Islanders do get a 2nd round pick. Who knows what I have, we're here talking about what the Islanders are doing. I have no idea what the Blackhawks or Blues, frankly, are doing either. So maybe this greases the skids for a Scott Mayfield trade to the Midwest, where he grew up and applied his learned the game. So we'll see. I don't know, but I don't know. Or they just pick a guy, and then in day 2 they pick 3 more guys. It's entirely possible they just do that too. And then we'll be back here on Sunday complaining that they didn't really do much, or they walked away with a bunch of prospects that seemed pretty cool. So we'll see. But in any event, thank you for listening. We will be back next week, same bat time on Monday, and then on Friday again to wrap things up. And I hope you all enjoy the draft. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.